The breeding activity of water birds is an exciting event. We had the opportunity to witness this grand show of nature at the Keoladeo National Park in India. It is a show of immense beauty, patience, perseverance and cooperation. A show of an instinct satisfied and a life fulfilled. Keoladeo was an arid scrubland till the late 19th century. Some water during the rains brought wildfowl to the area. Recognizing the potential, the local ruler developed it by diverting canal water to the area. This changed the area into a wetland, which in due course supported thousands of water birds. In spite of large-scale hunting during its earlier years, birds still chose it as a favoured destination. And Keoladeo Ghana or Bharatpur became one of the most famous water bird sanctuaries in the world. The area was declared a national park in 1981 and it is a World Heritage Site. Breeding activity starts shortly after the onset of the monsoon. Thousands of birds nest together in mixed heronries situated on acacia trees half submerged in water. The most conspicuous breeder in the heronries is the painted stork. Gorgeously coloured, the white plumage is marked with glistening greenish-black above. It has a black band across the breast and is the only white stork with a delicate pink above the shoulders, the wing and on the down feathers of the rump. Sometimes in September, when the water bodies are full of water and fish, these storks start appearing in the skies, looking for suitable nesting grounds. Colonial breeders, they generally return to nest at their places of birth. Once the nesting ground has been spotted, they start landing. They may stay hunched up on treetops for some time, waiting for a mate, and will soon start establishing their territories. At this time, they are very sensitive to intruders. Bickering and disputes are common. The rosy pelican joins the resident birds sometime in October. It is partly resident in India and partly a winter visitor. The sexes are alike, but the female is generally smaller. Weighing about 11 kilograms, the pelican is a heavy bird, yet the bones may weigh only about 750 grams. The hard, hollow bones combine strength with lightness. It is because of this sustaining framework that the pelican is also a very graceful flyer and can be seen soaring in the sky using rising currents of hot air. Water is one of the most important factors in determining nesting sites. Water will ensure that the breeding birds have a sufficient supply of fish for themselves and their hungry chicks. 2,000 breeding storks may require 4 to 6 tons of fish every day. The painted stork wades in shallow water and probes for fish. The pelican swims and trawls for fish in deep water. The leathery pouch attached to the beak is very versatile. The delicate blood capillaries help to exchange heat and provide a cooling mechanism, it is also superb fishing equipment. As the bird fishes, it scoops through the water with its wide open bill, trapping large quantities of fish. The cormorants have also decided to nest in the area. Both sexes perform domestic responsibilities, including incubation of eggs. Similar to the cormorants, the darter is also building its nest. It is also a water bird. Black with silver-grey streaks on the back, a whitish chin and throat, and a characteristic long, snake-like neck. Cormorants and darters lack oil glands whose secretions keep the feathers waterproof. These birds open their wings to dry their feathers in the sun. Without this, they cannot fly. Meanwhile, at the heronry, things have somewhat settled down for the painted storks. Females approach prospective males with suitable territories. There is an initial resistance when the male wants to chase away the female by vicious thrusts of the beak, but he eventually gives in. Pair formation is followed by a bowing ceremony and clattering of beaks. An adult stork cannot produce vocal sounds. Nest building has started in earnest. The male usually brings twigs and the female arranges them to give a suitable shape. Often, old nests are repaired. Painted storks are monogamous for the duration of a single nesting season. The sexes are alike and both share domestic responsibilities. The storks are light and build their nests using the more flexible extremities of trees. The nest is a large stake platform with a shallow depression, sparsely lined with leaves, straw and water weeds. Mating is accomplished at the nest, never on the ground or in water. 3 to 5 eggs are generally produced and are incubated for 26 days. After the arrival of the chicks, the heronry becomes exceedingly busy. With so many nests and chicks around, it is exciting to see an adult spotting its own nest and making a perfect landing. The chicks are very vociferous. The noisiest chicks thrive most as the quacking and frantic bowing stimulates the parents to feed more intensively. The parents regurgitate fish on the expanded nest platform for the young ones to eat. The young ones are voracious eaters and may eat an equivalent of up to 80% of their own body weight per day. Once the chick has been taken care of, the adult may also feed from its regurgitate. The cormorants are also simultaneously growing up, and by December are almost the size of the parents. They are also very vociferous and impatient. The young ones thrust their necks into the neck of their parents to eat regurgitated food. The pelican juveniles are sooty black and very unlike the parent. The pelican is fabled for its extreme devotion to its young. The young painted storks are growing up fast. As they grow, the parents keep adding to the nest platform. Even the young ones help in the process. This provides a larger dwelling area for the growing family. To protect the young from the heat of the midday sun, most storks shade their chicks with wings half opened. Open wings spread out to the sun also help the birds to get rid of parasites. As the chicks near fledgling time, they can be seen jumping up and down on the perches with flapping wings. The chicks grow up quickly and by the middle of January are ready to fly. They appear as dull grey birds and are smaller than the adults. By this time, the winters have set in completely. Some chicks have left the nests, but the majority are still dependent on their parents for food. It was interesting to see the baby storks on their knees while begging for food. They will leave the park soon to come again in September to nest. The spectacle was so powerful that we decided to visit the park again. Dawn and dusk provide excellent time cues for birds when they are most vocal. It is June. The monsoon is yet to arrive. The number of water birds is few. We could only observe some cranes, egrets and grey herons in the shallow waters. A few painted storks are also present. There are plenty of turtles in the water. They are also breeding, and eggs will be laid in July or early August. They are good swimmers, but generally no match for the more agile fish. The only ones that they can catch are the diseased and the injured. In freshwater turtles, the heads and limbs can be retracted inside the shells. Marine turtles do not have this capacity. On a tree nearby, some open-billed storks have started to group together. They are amongst the earliest breeders, and aggregation has started in June. Soon there will be food and water, and the storks will nest. Cattle egrets have started acquiring an orange-buff coloration on the head, back and neck. This is their breeding attire. They have grouped together in large numbers. This helps in offering a better selection of prospective mates. More eyes and ears also provide a more efficient surveillance system. Birds may also serve as early warning systems, and some will often mob the predator. Some birds may not be so lucky. Constrictors such as pythons and sand boas catch and coil themselves around the prey, squeezing it to death. The prey is swallowed whole. The snake becomes very approachable and vulnerable at this time. Monitor lizards are fond of birds' eggs. The red-wattled lapwing has sensed danger. A familiar plover bronze and black and white, it has made a nest on open ground. The eggs are perfectly camouflaged with the surrounding. It is one of the most vigilant of birds and the first to detect intrusion and raise an alarm. The Indian soft-shelled turtle is also breeding. Eggs are laid in mud and incubated by the heat of the sun. Turtles do not have teeth, but possess a sharp pair of cutting beaks, the edges of which are often serrated. The adults are capable of inflicting serious bites and may not release their hold even when killed. They are known to grab water birds like coots, teals and cormorants from beneath the surface of the water. Everyone is waiting for the monsoon to arrive. It is early August now. There has been no serious rain. The park has yet to receive water from the canals. Open-billed storks, egrets, cormorants, darters and ibises have aggregated on some trees. They are nesting. Although the heronry is mixed, each tree has its own dominant group. In community nesting, individual species generally prefer to stay with their own kind. All species exhibit a sufficient tolerance, but interspecies fights cannot be ruled out. Some open-billed storks are in the process of building nests. Some have already laid eggs and are in the act of incubating them. This bird has a predominantly white body with black at the end of the back and tail. The large beak is characterized by the presence of a gap. The gap, which develops when the bird attains an independent feeding capacity, helps it to open the tightly closed valves of Pila globosa, a snail. This is its favorite diet. Nests are built in crowded areas to avoid predators also. Because of their own territorial nature, many predators cannot get access to the crowded nests without being challenged for territory violation. Community nesting also serves as a school where the young learn by seeing others. The median egret is a lanky snow-white egret. The breeding egrets develop a cluster of ornamental dorsal plumes falling over beyond the tail. These feathers were once used extensively to decorate ladies' hats, and some years ago, egret farming was a profitable business. The male tirelessly picks up nesting material and presents it to the female, who completes the nest building. The presentation of nesting material is an important ritual in courtship displays and stimulates responses. The sexes are alike and both partners share equal responsibility. The white ibis is a large white marsh bird with a naked black head and neck and a long, stout, black beak. The sexes are alike. It lacks a true voice-producing mechanism. The ibis builds community nests. There is considerable deliberation in selecting areas for nesting. Once the territories are fixed, they are respected. Birds exhibit a wide range of mating systems, ranging from polygamy to monogamy. At one end are the strictly monogamous members, like the crane, that is wedded for life to its partner. The evolution to monogamy was brought about because of a necessity for both parents to look after the offspring. In other birds, like the bronze-winged jacana, the female is more brightly colored and is polyandrous. She may take more than one male during a breeding season. As soon as the eggs are laid, she leaves the mate, who faithfully incubates the egg and looks after the young, while she moves away to secure a fresh male. The male baya, or the weaver bird, is polygynous and may acquire 3 or 4 females in a season. All these birds have nested in the hope that they will be blessed with water soon. Water that will provide them and their progeny food for subsistence. But there is no sign of water. Pools are drying up fast. Easily accessible water is a limitation for the residents. It was in one of these drying pools that we encountered hundreds of fishes concentrated in the slush. Surprisingly, they were not being predated upon. Possibly, the thick coating of mud was a deterrent. Our friend the turtle was also in trouble. Caught in the thick mud, it was fighting a battle for survival. Both needed water. In a village nearby, some distance outside the park, we could see the Sarus cranes. It is the world's tallest flying bird and generally lives in isolated pairs. We could see an extremely devoted pair fondly rearing their chick. The golden yellow chick roamed around, exploring its new world. The red legs of the parent served as an important guiding tool. Very close to the cranes, the baya or the weaver bird has also picked up on its nest building activities. The hen baya does not have the bright yellow plumage of the male. The male weaves the nest thread by thread. It is a delightful process to watch. When the nests are half complete, the female will inspect them and adopt one to lay its eggs. After she has settled on her eggs, she leaves and starts building another nest, which will be occupied by another female, and so on. This way, the male acquires 4 to 5 females in a season. Whatever the pattern of nests, they are always specific in design to the species that builds them. It is the outcome of an instinct, fixed and inherited through countless generations of nest building. Experiments have shown that birds hatched in an incubator will, at the appointed time, build nests after their own specific pattern. At the park again in the evening, we witnessed a sad sight. The turtle was still struggling for life, a life that was slowly ebbing away. We knew by now that if the turtle lost, the park would lose, for both needed water. And then it happened. The turtle died. There was still no water. Some days later, we saw that the heronries, which were occupied by the egrets, ibises, and open-billed storks, were being abandoned. Eggs were left to the mercy of predators. And there was no water in September either. The monsoon had failed, and so had the efforts to supply water. The painted stork heronries of previous years were unoccupied. A season has been skipped, an instinct denied.